Well, good morning to all my friends. I thought I'd make this little video just for some of my special little friends. And just because I'm looking for things to do because we have so much time on our hands, and I've been following quite a lot of information on mental health in this time of COVID-19, and it's been like so interesting. So I thought I would share one or two little thoughts quickly on a little video with you. One of the things I've noticed that a lot of the psychologists have been saying is that a lot of us have been feeling very tired and inability to concentrate and maybe have sleeping problems. And what's nice to know is that it's actually normal under the circumstances. And they say it's probably because we're in a state of hypervigilance. If you think of what's happened, I mean, the whole world has turned on its head. Nobody knows tomorrow what's going to happen, how long this is going to be. So it's absolutely normal. I mean, for many of us, it's like financially, how we're going to cope, job insecurity, health issues, worried about all sorts of things. So like this hypervigilance is very normal, and it's the way our brain is wired. One of the webinars I watched spoke about the amygdala in our brain and how it acts like a neural Wi-Fi. So it picks up all the negativity. Our brain's actually wired to pick up negativity almost more than positivity. They say negative thoughts and negative input is automatically processed by the brain, whereas positive things take about 10 seconds to even register. So our brain is almost wired for negativity and to pick up on these things. So in a time of crisis like it is now, it could very well be that we're facing difficult times. What I think is interesting, what they've also said, if any of us had anxiety or stress problems before this, it could make it worse. So I think that that's quite nice to know. What was interesting about what they said about the amygdala, and because it's almost 66% of the brain picks up negativity, so we actually have to intentionally try to change our thinking to be positive. We have to sometimes force ourselves to think in terms of what am I grateful for? It's like building a muscle. So unless we intentionally move to do that, the natural inclination of the brain will go into a downward spiral. And that feels familiar to us sometimes because just that's the way we are and that's the way the world is. But unless we intentionally seek to change it, we might hit a major problem. One of the ways they say that we can calm our bodies down, I've always thought this was nonsense, but I actually saw these people linked onto a heart monitor and how it affected their heart rates. And what happened was they made these people, they linked them onto this through the ear, and it was a heart monitor, and they made them breathe 5 in slowly, 5 out slowly. Breathe in 5 slowly, to do that for about 2 minutes. And then the second thing was to then, while you continue breathing, is think of something positive, some very good memory, something feel good for yourself. And I promise you, we saw the person's heart was like fluctuating all over the place. And then once they started doing this, after about a minute or so, you could see the change in their heart rates. It actually became more consistent and coherent. And that they explained was very good because that our brain takes the cue from our heart rate. And if our heart's feeling all hyper and all over the place, then the brain starts saying, oh, there must be a problem. So let's get cortisol and adrenaline pumped through the system for fight or flight. So that's one of the things they really indicated is this breathing and thinking of something positive at the same time to calm our system down. But one of the most important things, and that's my final point for today, is they said self-compassion. Like there's no right or wrong way to do this lockdown. And for some of us, it's more difficult than for others. So we don't need to beat ourselves up if we're not being as productive as we think we could be, or we're feeling just completely otherwise can't concentrate. So it's also, give ourselves some slack, take it day by day, and get sufficient rest. Try to exercise, try to do the things that are within our control, taking one day at a time. Anyway, that's my message for today. Some of the things that have been really emphasized um, on different webinars and programs that I've been watching. Okay, if you get this, you know that I love you lots, and I hope you're well, and I hope you're coping, and look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, bye.